Hi there, thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. I've been very busy lately making thank you cards and haven't had time to do any videos lately. So what I thought I would do is just kind of bring you up to speed on some of the techniques that I've been using to make these really pretty thank you cards and some of the products that I've been using to create them with. So, I don't know about you all, but I'm really sad to see that fall is slowly disappearing. When I woke up this morning to go to work, it was 35 degrees outside. I live in the mountains of western Pennsylvania. And I'm just sad because I like the fall and the fall colors, and I've been thinking a lot about fall lately and making a lot of projects with fall colors. One of the cards that I recently created features this aspen trees, and this actually is a stencil. It's a 6x6 stencil from the Crafter's Workshop. It's called the Aspen Trees, 6x6 Aspen Trees. Okay, and I used pan pastels to create the panel and basically just use them to do some shading with some fall colors. So that one, I really like how that turned out. And this Grateful is from Stephanie Bernard, The Stamps of Life. I like it because I was able to use some foil underneath there to make it really pop. And I put the card panel on some foam tape, and then this background is also pan pastels. So there's one of the cards that I recently created. And then along the same lines, I have this stencil. It's a aperture stencil. It's heart and oval from Phil Martin. Anyways, it's a nice big oval. And so what I did was I laid the oval down, and then I put the stencil of the trees on top of the oval. And I used my pan pastels again to create this card. And then I had a nice cutout, a nice feature element. There it is. I like the way this turned out. And then I just had this sentiment from a stamp set from Brutus Monroe that I just embossed with fall leaves embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. And I actually made two cards like that. So I like the way those turned out. I think they kind of just remind you of looking out a window. So those two. And it just basically was a, similar project as this, just a little bit of a different take. I've also been trying to get some thank you cards out, and I have created several different thank you cards using Distress Oxide, background colors, and stamps from this stamp set from Brutus Monroe. This is the Autumn Sunrise set. It has all these really great leaves. And I used VersaFine Clair ink and pine cone and stamped the leaves onto the panel. And then I took some Brutus Monroe Vintage Sparkle embossing powder. This is very, very nice embossing powder. It's sort of like a vanilla color, but when you put it on to a project, you can see the pieces of glitter that's inside that embossing powder. It's really colorful glitter. It just reminds you of a rainbow. It's just really sparkly. I don't know if you can tell from this card what it looks like, but it's my favorite embossing powder for this kind of effect. I put some sequins down and then took a die with a rectangle, and this sentiment comes from Simon Says Stamped. It's the thank you. This is, let's see here, what's the name of the stamp set? This is called Thanks and Leaves, and this is from last year. And the leaves that I put on here are also from this set. And then I used the Brutus Monroe Fallen Leaves to emboss the sentiment. I think that's Fallen Leaves. Dried leaves, I don't know. It's really pretty. Whatever it is, it's really pretty. So what I thought I'd do is just demonstrate for you real quick how I did this. So I've already blended this, and for the ink blending I used 3 colors of Distress Oxide. I started out with Mustard Seed, then Spice Marmalade, then Fired Brick. I think those are the perfect fall colors. My panel got a little wet. I don't know how that happened because I wasn't trying to make it wet. I must have splashed some cleaner on it or something when I was cleaning my table, but that's okay. I think it looks nice. With the Distress Oxides, they react in water, so there's a couple little splotches there, but that's okay with me. All right, so let's get the leaves out here and go ahead and just place them on the panel. We've got a nice big set of leaves here. We can really dress this card up really nicely. You can fill in the space and have the leaves facing all these different directions. Don't have to be all, going the same way. And down here, I don't really worry so much about filling in because I know I'm going to put my sentiment down there. One thing about doing this technique, you do want to give yourself a little bit of open space. This is basically you're creating your own background paper, but I found that just leaving a little bit of space in between the, elements is much nicer than trying to cram a whole bunch in there. Just my personal preference, but that's my advice anyways. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and close our MISTI. Okay. And I'm going to use this Versifying Clair Pine Cone because it stays wet, and then I can emboss it with the beautiful Vintage Sparkle embossing powder. I want to call it Vanilla Sparkle because it just reminds me, like the color of it reminds me of vanilla ice cream with a whole lot of sparkle and shine in there. So we'll just go ahead and go over these leaves. They're going to be able to be embossed. You don't have to use Versamark or any other kind of embossing ink. You can just use this ink to do your embossing. Oh, one thing I do want to do is take my embossing buddy and go over my panel here because I don't want any spots to be on it with like oil from my fingers or anything like that. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get this stamped. Okay. Oh, that's pretty. Yep, I don't know about where you all live, but the leaves here are pretty much fallen off the trees. They were so pretty this year. The colors were gorgeous. We're supposed to get wind and rain this weekend, so that usually takes care of the fall foliage when that happens. But we did have a very pretty season this year. Okay, this one's not stamping well because of the magnet probably. All right, I'm happy. I just want to put one more little one on here because I've got some little tiny leaves here. This one looks like a spade, which is cute. And this one's sort of, I don't know what shape that is, but it's cute. Okay. I'm sorry that my phone is shaking a little bit there. Okay. Oh, it doesn't want to stamp there for some reason. Because it's probably user error. I'm sure it's me. Okay. This part doesn't want to stamp. What in the world? There we go. Okay. Now. Okay, like I said, we've got this beautiful vintage sparkle that we're going to emboss with. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper in case I spill any. Oops. I just have a little spoon in here. It's got a lot of glitter in it or something. I don't know. It's just really sparkly and pretty. And I like that it's off-white. That's why it's called vintage sparkle. Yeah, I owe a lot of people thank you cards. I got to get these done. And then a couple of my subscribers wrote to me that they would like me to send them a card. So I want to get some out to my subscribers too. Just haven't had many opportunities after work to do any videos. It's just been so busy lately with not only work, but different meetings in the evenings that I have to go to. It's not work related, like for church or other things. Okay, I know I spilled a little bit here. So let's see here, I'll just tap it off. I spilled a little bit on this little handle. I'll just tap it off. Okay. Now I have glitter all over my fingers. Okay, I'm going to heat emboss this. Panel. Here we go. All right, I'm going to do this off camera so that you're not having to listen to the sound of the heat tool so closely to the microphone. Okay. Alrighty, now we can adhere that to our card base. I'm just using craft cardstock for my base. Oops, sorry. I think this really looks nice with this cardstock and the craft. I just love the way this looks. And then I already completed the sentiment ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and secure the sentiment. And I won't do it on the screen, but I have these really pretty sequins. They're sort of like a copper color, and I'm going to put like 6 of those on each card. So there you have it. That's how I made my fall thank you cards. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. If you're new, please, feel free to subscribe if you're interested in watching future videos. If you're interested in receiving a card, you can shoot me an email to thehopefulcrafter@gmail.com. I'd be glad to send you a card in the mail. You can also check me out on my blog at thehopefulcrafter.blogspot.com and on Instagram at Schultz551. Thank you very much for checking out the cards and have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.